Attention F1 fans. Red Bull could be preparing an explosive lineup change for the Japanese Grand Prix. And Liam Lawson isn't happy at all. Tsunoda can say what he wants. I've already beaten him. Is a replacement coming at Red Bull? Is Lawson's seat in jeopardy? Stay tuned because today we analyze this intense rivalry and what could really happen at Suzuka. Comment now, who do you prefer at Red Bull alongside Verstappen? The history between Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda dates back to the lower categories, where the two drivers shared several seasons of competition in different championships. During their time in Formula 3 and Euroformula, Lawson stood out above Tsunoda, sowing the seeds of a rivalry that would eventually carry over to Formula 1. When Lawson talks about his career with Tsunoda, he doesn't hide the fact that, in his opinion, he always outclassed him. In Formula 3, Lawson recalls dominating races when the two were teammates, and in Euroformula Open he was also the standout driver. The 2020 Toyota Racing New Zealand Series competition, in which Lawson came close to winning the championship while Tsunoda finished a distant fourth, is another key point for the New Zealander, who credits these achievements as the foundation for his confidence in facing Tsunoda. But the rivalry intensifies even further when it comes to his promotion to Formula 1. In 2023, Red Bull selected Lawson to join the main team despite his limited F1 experience. His promotion was seen by many as a surprising decision, as Tsunoda, with his greater number of races in the series, seemed to have a better chance of filling that seat. However, Christian Horner, Red Bull team principal, justified Lawson's selection based on his potential, a characteristic that Red Bull executives consider critical to the team's future. Since then, Tsunoda has publicly expressed his displeasure at not being selected, and despite his excellent 2024 season, Red Bull decided to continue pursuing Lawson. For Tsunoda, the missed opportunity to join the Red Bull main team is not only a blow to his ego, but also marks the beginning of a rivalry marked by frustration and unfulfilled ambitions. Lawson's statements before the Chinese Grand Prix reflect this pent-up tension. The New Zealander made it clear that he has no sympathy for Tsunoda, arguing that it's not a sport for making friends. According to him, in his previous racing record, he was always superior to Tsunoda, and that feeling of being overshadowed by his rival in Formula 1 drives him to resolutely defend his position. The rivalry is not only based on their words, but also on the context of their careers. While Lawson struggles to adapt to the demanding RB21, Tsunoda continues to show consistency and maturity, further reinforcing the feeling that the Japanese driver could be ready to step up, although the past history between the two will always be a factor in this internal competition. This section puts into perspective how a history of close competition, marked by victories, frustrations, and key team decisions, has led to one of the most intense rivalries of the 2025 season, a confrontation that is far from being a thing of the past. The fight for the Red Bull seat has become personal, and the words of both drivers, far from easing the situation, have only fueled the fire of a dispute that, for now, seems to have no clear end. The start of the 2025 season for Liam Lawson has been anything but easy. Since his promotion to Red Bull, many expected him to quickly demonstrate the potential the team saw in him. However, the reality has been very different. Lawson has faced significant difficulties adapting to the RB21, a car that, unlike the Racing Bulls, is notoriously more difficult to handle and demands a particular driving style. The fact that Lawson has been eliminated in the first round of qualifying in each of the 2025 Grands Prix so far is a clear indication of the struggles he is facing. One of the most challenging aspects of this start is the lack of race pace. Despite having the same car as Max Verstappen, Lawson has been unable to effectively exploit the RB21's characteristics. The performance gap between the two Red Bull drivers has been evident in every race, with Verstappen once again showing why he is one of the most dominant drivers in Formula 1. This has put even more pressure on Lawson, who has seen his teammate extract the maximum from a car that some say is difficult to manage, while he continues to struggle. Max Verstappen, in several interviews, has mentioned that the RB21 is difficult to drive, especially for less experienced drivers. According to Verstappen, the Racing Bulls car, the team Lawson worked for before being promoted, is much easier to drive. This difference in the driving styles of the two cars could be one of the factors behind Lawson's difficulty adapting to the Red Bull car. It's a car that requires a very high level of precision and experience, qualities that Verstappen possesses due to his long career and his ability to quickly adapt to the car's variations. On the other hand, Lawson has been open about the pressure he is feeling. After the Chinese Grand Prix, he acknowledged that the situation is difficult and that he is fully aware that his time at Red Bull could be limited if he doesn't improve his performance quickly. This self-criticism shows that Lawson knows what is at stake and what is expected of him. However, he is also aware that, although the car is challenging, his lack of results could cost him his job. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has also expressed concern about the situation. Although he has faith in Lawson's potential, his performance during the first races of 2025 has been disappointing. Horner acknowledged that, although the situation is difficult, the pressure Lawson faces is part of Formula One, and that the young driver must find a way to overcome these obstacles as soon as possible. The media pressure on Lawson has also increased, making his adaptation to the car even more complicated. All of this has created a tense atmosphere within the team, with Red Bull carefully assessing the situation. The team is not known for being patient with drivers who don't live up to expectations. In the past, Red Bull has made quick and drastic decisions when drivers have failed to perform at the expected level. This has raised doubts about Lawson's immediate future with the team, especially given that his rival, Tsunoda, continues to show stronger form in the early races. In short, Lawson's start at Red Bull has been challenging. Difficulties adapting to the RB21 external and internal pressure, and the clear performance gap with Verstappen have put the New Zealand driver in a difficult situation. If he can't improve quickly, his future with the team could be at risk, and Red Bull will have to consider whether it's time to make a change. Lawson's situation is far from easy, and the coming weeks could be decisive for his Formula One career. While Lawson struggles to adapt to the RB21, Yuki Tsunoda is emerging as an increasingly strong option to fill the Red Bull seat. The Japanese driver has undergone remarkable career development over the past few seasons, showing a consistency and maturity he previously lacked. His progress has been evident in both his on-track performance and his personal development, making him a natural candidate for a seat in Red Bull's main team. Since Tsunoda arrived in Formula One in 2021, his career has been a roller coaster. Initially, his aggressive style and lack of experience led him to make several mistakes, but over time, Tsunoda has learned to handle the pressure and has managed to improve his consistency. In the 2024 season, his performance with Racing Bulls was remarkable. During that year, he appeared more mature, with a greater ability to control his emotions and make strategic decisions during races. This made him stand out not only among his teammates, but also in the paddock, where his potential became more evident. Tsunoda began the 2025 season with an impressive performance, qualifying in 5th place at the Melbourne Grand Prix, reflecting not only his ability to adapt to changing track conditions but also a clear improvement in his car handling. His pace in the early races has been consistent, sparking interest in a potential move to Red Bull, especially considering the team is currently evaluating its lineup for the upcoming races. One aspect that works in Tsunoda's favor is his greater experience in Formula One. With 92 Grands Prix starts under his belt, the Japanese driver has accumulated invaluable experience that could allow him to adapt more quickly to the RB21, a car that demands a high level of precision and adaptability. Lawson, on the other hand, with his limited experience, has proven difficult to extract maximum performance from such a complex car. This puts Tsunoda in an advantageous position if Red Bull decides to make a change, as his knowledge and ability to handle pressure make him a more suitable candidate to compete alongside Max Verstappen. Furthermore, Tsunoda has shown great confidence in his abilities. After the Chinese Grand Prix, he clearly stated that he was 100% ready to drive the Red Bull at his home race in Japan. This statement not only reflects his ambition, but also a confidence in his ability to quickly adapt to any challenge the team presents him. In his remarks, Tsunoda made it clear that he is ready to take the next step in his career and prove he is capable of competing at the highest level, something not all drivers can do when faced with a car as demanding as the RB21. From a commercial and strategic perspective, Tsunoda's inclusion in the main Red Bull team also has advantages. Japan is an important market for Formula One, and the presence of a local driver could further strengthen Red Bull's relationship with Japanese fans. Furthermore, the collaboration with Honda, the engine supplier, makes promoting a Japanese driver even more attractive from a marketing perspective. The Red Bull brand could leverage Tsunoda's popularity in Japan, generating tremendous local support for the team at the Japanese Grand Prix and other races across Asia. Despite the advantages Tsunoda presents, the move is not without risks. While he has improved considerably, he still faces the challenge of adapting to the tricky RB21 in a constant pressure environment. Although Tsunoda has more experience than Lawson, the Red Bull car is still a demanding car, and placing Tsunoda in the main team before his home race at Suzuka could be a risky move if he fails to adapt quickly. A subpar performance in Japan could hurt both Tsunoda and Red Bull, especially considering that the Suzuka race is one of the most symbolic of the season, both from a sporting and commercial perspective. In short, Yuki Tsunoda has evolved significantly and is demonstrating the confidence and performance necessary to make the jump to Red Bull. His experience, consistency, and maturity make him an attractive option for the team, which could be seriously considering his incorporation. However, as with everything in Formula One, decisions must be made with caution, and Tsunoda will still need to prove he is ready to face the challenges of a team as competitive as Red Bull. Liam Lawson's situation at Red Bull has become one of the most talked about topics in the Formula One paddock. After such a difficult start to the season, speculation about a possible driver change has intensified. Lawson, who arrived at the main team with high expectations due to his promising talent, has faced performances that have not lived up to expectations. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda, with solid form and a growing level of maturity, is emerging as the leading candidate to replace him. Since the first races of 2025, Lawson has struggled to adapt to the demanding RB21, a car that requires precision, experience, and an ability to navigate its complexity. The performance gap between him and Max Verstappen has been abysmal, and although the team believes in his potential, time is beginning to work against him. Red Bull has historically been a team that doesn't dwell on emotional factors when it comes to key decisions. Performance is all that matters, and if Lawson doesn't improve significantly, a change could be just around the corner. In contrast, Tsunoda has shown great progress in recent years. His performances at Racing Bulls have been consistent and solid, and his Formula One experience makes him an ideal candidate for the jump to Red Bull, especially considering his confidence and the fact that he is 100% ready to take on the challenge of the RB21. Furthermore, his upcoming home race, the Japanese Grand Prix, adds a layer of pressure and excitement to the situation, as a strong result at Suzuka could be the perfect opportunity for Red Bull to consider him as their next regular driver. Red Bull's decision is not only based on driver performance, but also on the team's commercial and strategic interests. Being Japanese, Tsunoda could attract significant support in the Asian market, especially considering his relationship with Honda, the engine supplier. Tsunoda's presence at Red Bull would not only be a strategic coup, but also a strong commercial move. However, the pressure to change drivers before the Japanese Grand Prix is something Red Bull must handle with caution, as a hasty move could have negative consequences if Tsunoda fails to adapt quickly to the car. For his part, Christian Horner has been cautious in his comments about a driver change, and while he has not denied the rumors, he has indicated that the team is evaluating the situation in detail. Red Bull's decisions are usually swift and often surprise the paddock, so the team is likely already analyzing all the data and possibilities before making a final decision. Lawson's situation is complex, and although he has shown flashes of talent, the pressure of adapting to the pace of a team like Red Bull could be a daunting task for such a young driver. If Lawson fails to improve significantly in the upcoming races, especially after the Japanese Grand Prix, Red Bull could make the difficult decision to replace him, not only to improve his immediate performance but also to ensure the team's future. Tsunoda, with his growing experience and strong form, could be the option Red Bull needs to maintain the level of competitiveness the team always demands. Ultimately, Red Bull's decision will be dictated by on-track performance and the team's short-term needs, but also by a long-term strategic vision. The following weeks will be crucial in defining Lawson's future and the possibility of Tsunoda taking his place. If there is a driver change, Formula One will witness one of the most impactful moves of the season, one that could redefine not only Red Bull's lineup, but also the landscape of the 2025 grid.